Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the El Cajon City Council meeting. The meeting is called to order, and I'd like to ask our city clerk to please call the roll.
All council members are present.
Would you all please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a brief moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The city posted orders of adjournment of the August 12th, 2025 meeting, the joint special meeting of September 2nd, 2025, and the agenda of the September 9th, 2025 meeting in accordance with state law, City Council and Housing Authority policy. We have proclamations on today's agenda. Will Chief Coe please come up to the podium and accept the proclamation, which I will read? Hi, Chief. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you so much for the proclamation. Mayor Wells, members of City Council, city staff. I do want to introduce you to Harlem Fire and Rescue's Emergency Preparedness Coordinator, Andy McKellar. And also, if you don't mind, I want to just share a little bit information about the National Preparedness Month. So National Preparedness Month is observed each September, and its origins date back to 2004, when FEMA established it to promote preparedness following the September 11 attacks. In recognition of the approaching wildfire and hurricane season, and just wanting to make sure that the nation was prepared for disasters and preparedness. And this initiative encourages all Americans to take action and prepare for disasters and other emergencies. Each year, a different area of focus is selected for National Preparedness Month, and this year's theme is Preparedness Starts at Home. And thank you for the proclamation, and everybody, please help us help you. And thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, Council, and staff, thank you very much for allowing me these few moments to talk about preparedness. It's a pretty daunting subject when you look at it on the whole, but it boils down to four really basic things. First is to know your risks in the area in which you live. Second is to put together, put together an effective family disaster plan. Next is to build a kit, an emergency kit for your home, and an evacuation kit as well. And last is get involved in the community with different disaster relief and response groups that we see here in El Cajon, like East County Community Emergency Response Team. That's a good way to get involved as well. So those four things are the things people need to concentrate on to be better prepared. It's pretty simple.
Well, thanks very much. You guys did a good job of telling us about this. Let me just read at least the end part of the proclamation, which you've got with you, right? Whereas National Preparedness Month is observed in September, and all citizens of the city of El Cajon are encouraged to participate in citizens' preparedness activities, and asked to write a review the Ready campaign's website at ready.gov or heartlandfire.org and become more prepared. Now, therefore, I, Bill Wells, Mayor of the City of El Cajon, together with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 as National Preparedness Month. And be it further proclaimed that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of El Cajon urge all citizens and businesses to develop their own emergency preparedness plan and work together towards creating a more prepared community. Signed this 9th day of September, 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Staff, do you have any agenda changes?
No, sir.
Council, any agenda changes? Okay, seeing none. We are now consent items. Consent items are routine matters enacted by one motion according to the recommendation listed below. With the concurrence of the City Council, a council member or person in attendance may request discussion of a consent item at this time. Council members, do you wish to pull any of the consent items? No, I see none. And staff?
No.
Angela, do we have any speaker cards for consent?
No speaker cards, sir.
I'll make a motion then to approve the consent items. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
We are now at public comment. At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council Housing Authority successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments related to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time that the item is heard. State law prohibits discussion or action on items not on the agenda. However, City Council and Housing Authority members may briefly respond to statements or questions, and an item may be placed on a future agenda. Angela, do we have a speaker cards?
Yes, sir, we have 13.
13?
The
Okay.
first one is Thompson.
Before we get started, we're going to limit public speaking because so many people here to 2 minutes. And we're going to take 5 up front, and we'll take the rest at the end of the meeting. You can go ahead and call.
Again, the first speaker is Thompson.
Hello, welcome.
I'm sorry, did I forget to write my first name on there? I'm sorry. Okay. My name is Leslie Thompson, and I've been living in El Cajon for 11 years, and I've been working here for 15 years as a substitute teacher for Cajon Valley Union School District. And I don't like the policy of cooperating with ICE because ICE is not adhering to the mission that they stated, which was to seek criminals who are completely undocumented. Instead, they are just going around and picking on anybody doing racial profiling and conducting a campaign of terror. Children are afraid to go to school, their parents are afraid to bring them to school, and their parents are afraid to do other things in the community, such as shopping and going to work. And as a substitute teacher, this is concerning for me because I don't want children to feel unsafe. I don't want to worry if they're going to come to our school and try and get students' parents. These are my students that I serve, and they're also my neighbors. And so I would really like the city to only cooperate with ICE if they're actually looking for criminals who are undocumented, people who are sought for violent crimes. I don't think just going around and grabbing people who are just trying to live normal lives like I live my normal life is appropriate.
Just, ma'am, you may want to know that
I'm sorry, I can't hear you right now. Okay.
there's a law in California called SB 54 which doesn't allow us to cooperate with ICE even though we think we should. So thank you.
That's not my understanding. My understanding is
Well,
that it's a sanctuary.
your
state
understanding
and
is really
no city's
irrelevant because
police forces are
that's
supposed
the
to
law.
cooperate.
Next speaker is Stephanie Cajon.
Good afternoon, council members, mayor, staff, police staff as well. My name is Stephanie Cajon. I've been helping with to collect signatures for the Recall Phil Ortiz campaign. And I'm here today to, again, ask Mr. Steve Goebel to consider sponsoring a resolution to rescind the resolution on immigration. And to make my point today, I'm going to read from the El Cajon Police Department's policy manual. And because it's clear that it does understand the intent of what all of us who are opposed to that resolution have been saying. And I don't know if it actually covers the 14 points. I'm not enough of an expert yet in that. But let me read to you again. Like I said, this is the El Cajon Police Policy Manual. It is the policy of the El Cajon Police Department that all members make personal and professional commitments to equal enforcement of the law and equal service to the public. Confidence in this commitment will increase the effectiveness of this department in protecting and serving the entire community and recognizing the dignity of all persons, regardless of their national origin or immigration status. To encourage crime reporting and cooperation in the investigation of criminal activity, all individuals, regardless of their immigration status, must feel secure that contacting or being addressed by members of law enforcement will not automatically lead to immigration inquiry and/or deportation. While it may be necessary to determine the identity of a victim or witness, members shall treat all individuals equally, and they shall not inquire into an individual's immigration status for immigration enforcement purposes. So again, my point is that knowing this policy and its intent, the resolution sends a contrarian message to the community. Thank you.
Next speaker is Chris Ford.
My name is Chris, District 1. Gary, Michelle, good to see you. It has been nearly a month since the last City Council meeting, at which more and more members of the community showed up in solidarity with their neighbors to demand that the Council rescind the harmful and malicious resolutions seeking to entangle ICE with El Cajon Police. Every session, I see more and more first-time speakers who until now never possessed a reason to voice, to vent, or to profess their righteous indignation at certain city officials. And yet every week, you give us more and more cause to be angry. Mayor Wells, you especially cannot keep your fascist agenda to yourself. On August 12th, Bill Wells told NBC7 that he wants to strengthen the resolution, saying, "I think we should call ICE and say, hey, I've got this guy in the back of my police car. Do you want him for any reason?" Any reason. What are the reasons ICE has used to detain and deport innocent people this year? Being brown, being black, being white but from dangerous countries like Germany, Canada, Australia, working in a restaurant, working on a farm, generally working the jobs Americans like me aren't going to do, being an American citizen but not having your birth certificate on hand, being an Afghani translator for the army, being a student, and sometimes, maybe, when they don't target the most vulnerable members of society, they will detain an actual violent criminal. If ICE only detained violent criminals, we would be having a different conversation. But that is not the case. The case before us is that Bill Wells would love nothing more than for El Cajon Police to help ICE disappear anyone he deems undesirable. Due process of law be damned. ICE out of El Cajon, ICE out of San Diego, ICE out of California, recall Phil Ortiz.
Next speaker, Alexander Kraft.
Mayor Wells, Councilor Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council. My name is Alexander Kraft. I'm a labor leader, a community organizer, and I'm from El Cajon. It's my hometown. I went to Magnolia and Naranka Elementary. My first job out of high school was at Taylor Guitars. I'm a homeowner. I have deep roots in El Cajon, and I'm proud of my city and my community. Now, this is not the first time that I've addressed this body, but somehow every time I do, it seems like I end up giving you a civics lesson. It is the responsibility of the mayor and the city council not to serve your own desires, fears, and prejudices, not to suck up to billionaires and try to tee up runs to higher office. It is your responsibility to serve the people of El Cajon. And the people of El Cajon have been packing these chambers for months, telling you that we don't want ICE raids, we don't want business as usual, and we don't want our city government accelerating the national descent into authoritarianism and the erosion of democracy. The people of El Cajon have been telling you that they want affordability, a politics that prioritizes working families over the interests of billionaires and property developers, and to feel safe in their own neighborhoods. And the people who have been telling you that are only the ones who haven't been too intimidated by police state tactics to even come here. So, Mr. Wells, since you have chosen to ignore your responsibilities as mayor to the people of El Cajon, I'll be taking over your job in 2026. You have made it very clear that you're more interested in a position in Congress or the County Board of Supervisors, so I'll be running for mayor of El Cajon, and I'll win, and I'll free you up to pursue another job. I'm eager to debate you at a time and place of your choosing. When would you like to do that?
Let's get closer to the election. We're glad to talk about it.
Well, I'll stick around after the meeting so we can coordinate that. So my name is Alexander Kraft, that's spelled K-R-A-F-T, and I look forward to our debate.
Speaker number 5 is Harper Rowan.
Hello, my name is Harper, and I'm speaking to demand that El Cajon City Council follows SB 54 like the rest of California. It does not matter what you, Bill Wells, or you, Phil Ortiz, want for El Cajon. That's not in your job description. Your job description is to listen to the voices of your constituency, and your constituency is telling you really clearly that we do not feel safe from deportations. Deportations don't pay our bills, deportations don't help our students, and they're not gonna help our community. You have a choice. You can either get with it, or we can get you out of your jobs.
Well, we'll come back to public comment after we do some of this business. We have no written communications on today's agenda. We have one public hearing on today's agenda. Item 9 is for the zoning reclassification of 628 through 630 and 702 Broadway. Staff's going to tell us about this, but before that happens, I and Mr. Goldberg are both going to recuse ourselves due to the owner of this property having given us a campaign donation. So, thank you.
Shall I sit in Bill's spot? Gary, you sit wherever you feel comfortable, Mr. Kendrick. Okay.
All right, good afternoon, Council. Noah Alvey, Deputy Director for the Community Development Department, here to present proposed rezoning, so zone reclassification 2025, number 2. So this is a request to rezone property at 628, 630, and 702 Broadway. So the subject properties are shown here. They're located on the north side of Broadway between Ballantyne Street and North Mollison Avenue. The interesting thing is that the properties currently have residential zoning designations, even though the general plan identifies this area for office or office professional type uses. So here's a street view of the existing conditions. So on the far left side of the screen is 616 Broadway. That's the existing animal hospital. Behind that is property addressed as 628 through 630 Broadway. That was previously developed with residential uses. There used to be 2 residential units back there. They have been demolished, so that site is currently vacant. And then on the far right side of the screen is 702 Broadway. That was approved as a racquetball club in a residential zone, so it was approved with a conditional use permit as a recreational facility in a residential zone. So back in 1980, the City Council rezoned most properties to be consistent with the general plan, but it did make an exception for certain properties that were developed with non-conforming uses or uses that weren't consistent with the general plan. So essentially what this did is it allowed the property owners to continue the use of the properties under the residential zones, but then it also allowed them to come back in the future to propose to rezone to be consistent with the general plan when the properties were ready to be redeveloped or used in a different manner. So the proposed zone change is consistent with the general plan. It will allow the property owner in the short term to repurpose the racquetball club building into new uses that would be allowed in the office professional zone. The required findings are shown here on this slide. The Planning Commission did unanimously recommend that the City Council approve the rezoning to the office professional zone. The zone change is also exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, as a subsequent action to the environmental impact report for the existing general plan. So staff's recommendation is that the council conduct the public hearing, adopt the next resolution in order, approving the CEQA determination, and then introduce the ordinance for the zone reclassification. So that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Council, do you have questions?
Hi, just real quick, and I forgot to ask Dr. Johnson about this. What are the plans for the vacant lot behind?
No stated plans yet from Dr. Johnson. This would allow it to be redeveloped for the office professional zone. Dr. Johnson is in the audience, and he can testify.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Angela, do we have any speaker cards?
There are no speaker cards, sir.
Council?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to open the public hearing?
Point of order, I think, is the public hearing already open?
And there are no speaker cards, sir.
Okay, so.
Okay, so then motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
Okay, any discussion? You want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolution authorizing, whoops, I'm on the wrong one, sorry, to accept the zoning reclassification for 628 through 630 and 702 Broadway and make it so.
Second.
Please vote.
Before you vote, we need to adopt the resolution approving the CEQA determination for.
Do you want to strike your?
You're actually mixing the two motions. One is to adopt the resolution for approving a CEQA determination. The second will be introduction of an ordinance.
Strike your motion.
I'll strike my motion.
I'll rescind my second. Then
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving the CEQA determination under CEQA guidelines.
Okay, second.
Please vote.
I'll get it. Motion carries by unanimous vote with Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick, Councilmember Metchell and Ortiz voting yes, Mayor Wells and Councilmember Goebel disqualified.
Okay, and I'd like to move that we approve the zone reclassification for this property. Is that correct?
You'll be approving for first reading the ordinance to reclassify.
Introduce the
yes.
ordinance.
Just go ahead.
You need to strike your.
Okay, strike my motion.
I'll move to introduce the next ordinance in order approving that zone reclassification as outlined in the staff report.
Please vote.
Motion carries by a 3-0 vote with Mayor Pro Tem Kendrick, Councilmembers Metchell Ortiz voting yes, Mayor Wells and Councilmember Goebel disqualified. And the title for the ordinance reads, An ordinance rezoning a portion of property located on the north side of Broadway between Mollison Avenue and Ballantyne Street from residential single-family RS6 to office professional OP 629-630 Broadway, APN 483-130-2100, and property located on the north side of Broadway between Mollison Avenue and Ballantyne Street from residential multifamily to 2,200 square feet, RM 2200, 702 Broadway, APN 483-130-4700, to office professional OP zone, general plan designation, office non-retail O/NR.
Well, Dr. Johnson, I think that's probably a record and the quickest public hearing ever.
I just want to thank everybody involved from the city. Community Development, Planning Commission, and the council have been just a pleasure to work with. And so I want to thank you all.
Well, we appreciate everything you do in the community, Dr. Johnson. As I've said before, I had gotten your services, and I'm sure that a lot of people here throughout over the decades.
You had asked what the plan is going forward, and the first thing we're doing, we're in the process of developing it right now, is a dog training program for service veterans. And we will probably also extend that into therapy dogs so they can go into hospitals and visit elderly care centers and that sort of thing. So that's
Thank you so much.
On the road.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, and thank you to Dr. Hampel for all the service that you've done to El Cajon. Thank you.
Okay, and now Bill and Steve can come back.
Okay. We have two administrative reports on today's agenda. Item 10 is regarding the Faces of Freedom banner program, and staff will tell us about this.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for having me here today, Mayor, Council, staff. My name is Julie Alon, and I am your Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation. I am here to tell you about our Faces of Freedom banner program. The City of El Cajon has always been proud to recognize and honor the dedication and service of our military veterans and active duty members. We would like to show that pride through a banner program that pays tribute to those who have served or are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. Our Veterans Coalition has proudly been a driving force to get this program up and running, and we have one of our members here today with us. As part of this pilot initiative, the banners will be displayed on Solsfield and Rhea, right in front of City Hall and our Public Safety Center. You can see on the map the location of where those existing poles already are located. This area is also in the line of sight of the proposed location for the new Veterans Memorial, also in front of the Public Safety Center. To be eligible for the program, the honoree must be a veteran or active duty U.S. Armed Forces member with a local City of El Cajon residency connection, meaning that the honoree, the applicant, or a direct family member must reside in the City of El Cajon or have an active membership in a 501c19 military organization based here in the city. Additionally, the honoree shall not have a dishonorable discharge or any violent felony convictions. To apply, the applicant will complete an online application, submit a military photo of their honoree, proof of the program eligibility, and pay a $200 fee, which will cover the design, printing, installation, and removal of the banner. Once everything is approved, the banners will be displayed for a 12-month period and then be retired, either given to the honoree or recycled. Additionally, we will have a dedicated page on the city's website to include pictures of all of our honorees with their details, their name, rank, branch, and service dates, and this will remain posted on the website even after the banner cycle ends. On this page, we also can acknowledge if any of our honorees have been past El Cajon Veterans of the Year. Additionally, we can include information on the city's Veteran Memorial and how to donate to that fund if somebody wants to contribute. And here's my favorite part. We have our banner design that was chosen by our Veterans Coalition. Our banners will be 30 by 72 inches, excuse me, full color and double-sided. The banners will include the photo, the honoree's name and their branch of service. And here you can also see it photoshopped on one of our poles in the roundabout as an example. Little fun fact here, our model shown on the sample is actually my brother and his lovely wife who are active duty in the Coast Guard currently. They're very proud to be my models. And with that, staff recommends that council receives this report and provides feedback regarding implementation of the Faces of Freedom banner program. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions of the council? Michelle?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. What is the funding for this?
Sorry,
the funding.
Well,
how's it being paid for?
The applicant would pay the $200 fee, and that will cover
everything. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Angela, do we have speaker cards on this item?
No speaker cards, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? Would someone like to make a motion?
Move to receive the report.
Moved and seconded. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Thanks. The last administrative report, item 11, is the City Council Action Plan 2025 Quarterly Update. City Manager Mitchell, will you please tell us about this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The purpose of this agenda item is to provide a quarterly update on where we're at with the City Council Action Plan. As you recall, last January, the City Council met in a public workshop and took feedback from the community and developed the work plan for the upcoming year. That work plan included 6 specific priorities, including city beautification, city infrastructure, economic development, homelessness, public safety, and then the little catch-all miscellaneous priorities. Staff went back listening to the council's comments and the public's comments and developed 26 goals, which the council eventually adopted later in February of earlier this year. So there's 26 specific goals related to those different topics. This last year we've been using as a pilot program, online program called StrataGauge, and StrataGauge allows us to post where we're at and kind of track where we're at progress-wise on our goals. And so I'm just pulling some of the images off that the residents can actually go to the city's website under the City Council page and find all these goals, so you can dive in a little bit deeper and get more information. But this shows where we're at from a progress perspective, and I'll go through each of these specific priorities, just highlight a couple items, but always able to answer questions that you may have about very specific items. So in the city beautification, the illegal dumping program or campaign is completed. We'll continue to work with apartment complex owners and other areas where we're seeing illegal dumping occur, and we'll continue the education process that we started earlier this year. As you recall, the City Council earlier this year during the budget discussions opted to push off the Volunteer Connections web page where we would help connect seniors with volunteers. So that's on hold for right now. You'll be receiving a report in the next meeting or two about third-party vendors and how we're managing those contracts. And we've established some internal controls to help us ensure that those that we're paying valuable tax dollars to are doing what they say they're going to do, and that our residents are getting the benefit of those services. And then in terms of this landscaping street projects and then the sidewalk panel project, those are going to be coming to the city council again in the next few council meetings. Moving on to city infrastructure, the city council adopted the one-year capital improvement program during the budget process. We are working on, we have an internal committee that's looking at more of a comprehensive look at all of our capital projects from a 5-year perspective, and we hope to bring that to you by the end of the year. And then also we continue to work on opportunities to infuse a specific capital improvement project in a neighborhood. This was an idea that came about a couple years ago, and so we'll be bringing forward some ideas and a project for the council to consider at an upcoming meeting, and I think the next 1 or 2 meetings as well. Moving on to economic development, there's a lot going on in this area. Parkway Plaza is taking up a lot of time. It doesn't show only 20% of accomplishment, but we have at least 4 people from the city manager's office that are working on this project right now. And it's probably besides homelessness, probably the #1 thing we're working on right now. So there is a lot of progress happening behind the scenes, a lot of legwork that's occurring back and forth. So we're excited to share the land use plan. The city council approved an agreement with the land use planner, and so they're working on that. That land use planner is going to be funded with a SANDAG grant, which we should be getting awarded to us shortly. The notice of award went out already. So once that award occurs, then we'll start that planning process. So we're excited to move forward with that. We're also doing some good work in the downtown area. As you know, New City America has taken over the management of it. Our staff actually had a tour with New City America and the maintenance crews to look at areas of deficiency and understanding areas of responsibility, and we're already seeing some noticeable differences in that area as well. The vacant lot incentive program, the community development department has actually done all of their work, and it is sitting neatly on my desk, which I have not gotten to, so I am the holdup there, so that 20% is 100% my fault. So that will be something worked on in the next month or so. We continue to work on identifying businesses around the airport area. We'd almost call them influencer businesses, kind of key businesses. My staff has actually identified those 5 now. We'll be reaching out to them. We'll probably be reaching out to the city council because I think some of you may have some connections with some of those businesses. So we'd love to use your assistance to help develop a relationship with those businesses. And then the idea is, how can we help those businesses grow, but also maybe attract other businesses that support their businesses or that they support, and so to create this symbiotic relationship between those core businesses around the airport. And we continue to work with the ECEDC in this area as well. And then lastly, we've done all of our internal discussions about some ideas of programming the land and the space around the Magnolia. We're currently socializing some of those ideas with the downtown, with the PBID, and with some other stakeholder groups, and we look forward to bringing that to the city council shortly. Moving on to homelessness, as you recall, we revamped the idea of creating a video with some staffing changes and some budget issues. So we're continuing to figure out a way to repackage some of the materials that we've already put out in the past. We've increased our quality of life team task force, and I sent an email to the city council earlier this month about some events coming up later this month, and we'll see what those look like and what kind of impact that those activities can have. We'll be presenting our analysis on Prop 36 to the city council at the conclusion of the year after we have a full year's worth of data available. And then I'm really excited that our IT department has been working with community members and with members of the city team to develop a new homeless dashboard that has a lot of data, maybe more data than most people want, but I know data that the city council would love to dig into, some really cool maps that show data over time, so you can kind of scroll the map and see progression or in some cases worsening of issues. It has real-time data, so as we go out and do an encampment cleanup, and that data is recorded, it automatically updates the dashboard. So it's live data that's going into the dashboard all the time with not only the cleanup, but also the assistance programs that we're offering as well and those that we're helping. So we're going to be presenting that dashboard to the City Council next week, and then we'll get your feedback and input. And once we've implemented that input, then we will launch that to the public. 2 more to go. Public safety, we are 100% done with the pre-work related to the staffing of Engine 208. As you know, we've applied for the SAFER grant. We're hoping to hear back from the federal government soon on whether we receive that. Once we know that, we'll know how to pay for the funding. If we don't receive it, then we'll come back to the City Council and seek some alternatives for how we would fund those positions. But the engine is operational right now. It's up and running. It's just not fully staffed until we have those staff members on board. We continue to work with the convalescent homes and congregate care facilities. We've actually seen a reduction in the calls for service since we've started talking about this, and we've implemented some policies. We're collecting some more recent data, and then I'll be actually setting up a meeting with those folks to talk about what's working, what's not working, get their input, their ideas, and I'll be presenting some policy recommendations to the City Council from that. The police department continues a really proactive community policing effort where we're trying to engage our community more, from not only seniors but to youth and a chief's advisory board. So there's a lot of great work happening in that area. We're working on figuring out ways to integrate all the different technologies that we have right now into one central location related to police departments. And then we will be we've had some great discussions with Helix Water District about the threat assessment of lack of water, especially post Los Angeles fires and what happened there. The reality is one of the concerns that came out of the LA fires was that the fire hydrants just didn't have the pressure to fight the fire. The reality is, with the weather that was occurring and the conditions occurring, no amount of pressure could have helped in that situation. But it's a good lesson to learn and to understand what are our vulnerabilities and what are our weaknesses and how can we mitigate some of those weaknesses. So we'll be bringing a report to the City Council about that shortly. And then lastly, as you know, we're working furiously on the Veterans Memorial. The City Council recently approved a contract with the architect, the designer, so that work is occurring right now. We're doing some great work with the Veterans Coalitions and to get their input. So we're hoping to bring forward a design to early next year. We are continuing to have some early conversations about some of the early or alternative ways to communicate with our residents beyond social media and beyond other electronic versions. You may have seen, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've actually put a lot more banners than we have in the past. So we're hoping those get some traction. Ms. Thorne is leading a team that's working on some of those efforts there. We've also we have increased the usage of the El Cajon app. We have run into some challenges. The QR code that we have printed on a lot of data was deleted from the system, and so that's put us back a little bit, but we're actually making some really good progress on getting more users. We do think at some point we're going to hit a saturation point. I mean, you can grow to a certain degree, but at some point, no one else is going to get it. So at some point, we'll have to recognize that. We're looking at the data trends to see where that plateau is occurring right now. And then in terms of the Magnolia, it looks like we have a really busy fall season. There's a lot of concerts coming to the Magnolia this fall, and we are preparing to have, once we have a few more data points, we're going to do some one-on-one briefings with the City Council, along with Live Nation staff, so you can sort of peek behind the curtain to see what's going on there and get some input, and then we can have a more open conversation about other ideas to make the Magnolia more profitable. And with that, staff's here to answer any questions that you may have about a specific goal or any general feedback you'd like to provide to staff.
Council, any questions? Phil.
Thank you, Graham, and for all the staff working on their projects. I know the past couple of council meetings we've been talking about budget cuts. How is that affecting the goals? Are we going to have to adjust, course correct, given we're more than halfway through the year? What does that look like?
Well, I think when we were having our budget conversations, we did push back some of those goals and delay some. So that's occurring. We're having to do the same amount of work with a few less employees, so that is slowing some things down as well. So there'll be some areas there, but I think we've made some good progress before budget cuts occurred, where we got the ball rolling on a lot of things, and so I feel pretty bullish that we're going to get a lot of this done.
Other questions? Thanks, Grant.
Thank you.
Oh, Grant, one last question about the Magnolia.
Yes.
When's the next time you're going to be giving us an update on the revenue stream?
So we'll do some behind this, some one-on-one briefings with the council, but we should probably have something by the beginning of fourth quarter, so probably November or maybe even late October, where we'll have some revenue projections for the council.
Seem like our progress is going well so far?
So far, I mean, there has been a little bit of a slowdown as the economy has slowed down. There has been a slowdown in concerts last year. We were receiving a significant amount of revenue from the school district. They were doing some programming during the summer using their version of ARPA money. Those funds have dried up, so that's a revenue source that's gone away. So we don't have that as much as we have in the past. But like I said, it's a very busy fall season. There's a lot of concerts that are coming to the Magnolia this fall. They're working on some ways to increase beverage sales and food sales as well. And so we're hoping to have some good data to share with the council.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Graham. Appreciate that. Okay.
Bill, feedback?
Yeah, Steve, please.
Some feedback on the El Cajon app. The average retail store turns over its customer database about every 7 years. You lose about 13% a year. People move away. A variety of reasons why they leave that house, which means new people are moving in, and especially with a city where we have more apartments than we have, or more multifamily dwellings than we have single-family dwellings. I think there's an opportunity in that communication to either work with or have the chamber take the lead, or the EDC take the lead to target people who are moving into the city. Pacific Southwest Association of Realtors, Southern California Housing Rental Association. They would know who's coming in, and if we had a package to give them of, here's information on the app, here's information on city events, here's information on concerts, here's the catalog for the recreation classes. That's a package to give somebody. That itself can be an economic engine to refresh somebody new coming in that the old person didn't tell on their way out.
It's a great idea. In fact, staff and I met with a vendor yesterday that does this for new businesses, but also they've opened it up to new residents in a community in Los Angeles County that does that exact same thing. It uses artificial intelligence, but it's almost like a chat GPT for new residents specifically. And so they get access and ask lots of questions, and the program actually prompts them, say, well, what are you interested in? And it can actually drive things that the city provides. Let's say they have kids and one of them wants to learn how to swim. It'll tease that out, and then we can send them information about our aquatics program. So there's a lot of really cool ideas, but I like the idea of focusing on our new residents, especially that are coming in. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any speaker cards for this item?
No speaker cards, sir.
All right, it's back to council. So look for a motion.
I'll move to receive the report.
All right, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right. We have no commissioner reports on today's agenda. We're at activity report. Item 15 is my activity report. Mr. Goebel.
As reported, to comment on MTS on Thursday, the full board will be discussing the financial sustainability of the system. In about 2 years, I think a lot of the government bailout money is going to expire, leaving about $134 million deficit to overcome. That's to be discussed Thursday. Will be a fare increase as well as optimization resulting in some possible service cuts. So some tightening of the belt coming for MTS in the future.
All right. Mr. Kendrick? As reported. Mr. Ortiz?
As reported with one addition, I attended the League of California Cities meeting yesterday.
Thanks. Ms. Mitchell?
As reported.
All right, there are no joint council member reports, no general information items, and no first or second readings on ordinances for today. And now let's go back to public comment.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Valerie Traina.
My name is Valerie Traina. I am here to speak not for myself, but for the immigrant population of El Cajon. These are wonderful, hardworking people, and you're treating them like criminals because you are collaborating with the federal Nazi regime, and you will be punished eventually, and you will be punished perhaps in the short term too, because you will be outed. You will be kicked out of office. The people are not down with this. I am not down with this. Treating people like criminals. These people make my life better. They make all of our lives better because they work hard. They do all the jobs that white America won't do. And that is something that you won't own up to, or maybe you do in your back room. But I'm here to speak for them because I have white privilege. They're afraid to speak because you have terrified them by letting loose the ice on them, by calling your police officers who are citizens, residents. You're turning residents against residents. That is shameful. And I can't believe that you can live with yourselves. How can you live with yourselves doing that? My mom didn't bring me up to be that way. My mom was a conservative Catholic woman, and she would never have thought, if she were alive today, she'd be amazed that we're living under a Nazi regime. That is exactly what this is, when you're just secret police, that you sick on people. These people are good people. Just leave them alone. I'm done.
Victoria Barron. Okay. Brenda Hammond.
Hi, Graham. Hi, Brenda Hammond. I had more color balloons, but I forgot to tie them together, so we have to deal with these because we are the USA, right? My concern with this latest crisis, if that's what you want to call it, is that again, with every crisis that we've ever had, whether it was fire, floods, whatever, we have these pop-up churches and these pop-up groups that all of a sudden they want to pray for people. P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned that they're scaring people into saying, oh, come to our group and, you know, we will save you. They're scaring people. They're making them paranoid, which they're not going to do with me. And some of your staff knows why. Not going to crack. Okay, so then I want to tell you that I'm sad that the concerts are over, but they're still going on at Grossmont. Grossmont's part of East County, right? And then, you know, I had my new dance partner, and Mayor Wells said he wanted it for his dog. So all the times I ran away from another city, this melted in my car. So Mayor Wells, you can have it for your dog now.
Oh, Doc will
Thank you.
Doc will appreciate the gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend R.J. Lucchesi?
Hi, here we are again. Deja vu, right? So, you know, at the risk of belaboring the point that I always come here to make, and kind of the relevancy of it too, but it does say in God we trust. Bill Wells, Phil Ortiz, a lot of your political base is out of right-wing churches, so I think this is a relevant point to continue to address to the chambers, to y'all as well. I do want to concede one thing between y'all and myself, that we do have some similarities, you and I. I think we're more similar than we think. Part of that is we both see our politics deeply intertwined with our religious understanding, right? But y'all are on one side, I'm on another side. See, I think the difference between guys like you and somebody like me and others is that y'all use your right-wing politics to inform your understanding of the teachings of Jesus, right? I use my understanding of Jesus to inform my left-wing politics. You see the difference? See, y'all's disdain for your neighbor, y'all's rejection of immigrants, the rejection of the needy, the marginalized, that informs the way you practice your politics. My love for Jesus and many that organize with us, our love for neighbor, our care for the needy and marginalized, Matthew 25, I brought it up before, informs the way we are politically. We're different, so same, but different. But I will say, the disdain that you have for your neighbors has sparked something here in the community. I don't think many of you have really faced any substantive political opposition in your careers, but because of your hubris, because of your racism, let's be real, you have sparked something here in the community that is building up for the people of El Cajon and not for a minority interest group. Thanks so much.
I just wanted to point out that Michelle and I voted against the resolution.
Joanne. Next speaker is Joanne Pastori.
Hi, I'm Joanne Pastore. I'm an artist at Spanish Village in Balboa Park, and like we did at the beginning of this meeting, at the beginning of each meeting there, we turn to the American flag and we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we hold our right hand over our heart, and I'm only going to say the last part of it. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. More and more, I'm having second thoughts about saying the words that I just said. If we stand for liberty and justice, how can we support our El Cajon police force to help a masked group wearing no IDs, yet armed and willing to smash car windows, to arrest with no due process or trial black and brown people who are walking down the street or pulling weeds at their job site or working in a factory making cars? The people making the arrests, as you know, they're called ICE, but what they really are bullies. We don't want police helping bullies. We don't want police and bullies scaring our children who are playing in the parks or in the schools, just daydreaming, looking out the windows. Authoritarianism, dictatorship is opposite of our Pledge of Allegiance, and will change the last words. We will be saying, with liberty and justice for the 1%. No ICE in El Cajon, period.
Carlos Perez. Carlos Perez.
Greetings, city staff and council members Kendrick and Michelle.
Thankfully, the media and the public won't have to wait 2 hours again to voice their comments. Thanks to those who donate for the recallphilortiz.org campaign. My name is Carlos Perez, a 40-year resident of El Cajon, with 90% being in District 4. Now that racial profiling is legal, I'd like to declare that I am here legally before ICE kidnaps me. The chamber has paid so much attention. The people have never been so involved. The media is now exposing the truth of El Cajon. We conducted our research and we've been requesting public records. Heck, at least we know they exist, unlike the Epstein's files. Where are those overconfident smirks, Mayor Wells and Steve Goebel? I'd like to thank council members Gary Kendrick and Michelle for the public service and bipartisanship for this diverse city. In advance, I apologize for the changes that are coming. Yet, I look forward to working with you and the city staff. Phil Ortiz, I want to thank you for igniting this movement. I disagree with your voting for El Cajon being the second city out of 483 in California to bypass SB 54, California Sanctuary Law. As your constituent of District 4, I have one question only that requires one word. Did your grandparents arrive to the United States legally or illegally? I pay my taxes, by the way. Classic hypocrisy from a Christian nationalist. I wouldn't even speak about your brother's personal preferences. The generational cycles ends here. Phil Ortiz, as a pastor of Foothills Christian Church, did you know Jesus was an immigrant? What happened to love thy neighbor? La Mesa loves our neighbors, not their trustees, their neighbors, yes. Repent, resign, rescind. If you will listen to your constituents, then listen to your colleagues. If not, be recalled, or better yet, be removed just like ICE. Out, 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 out. Thank you.
Next speaker is Joe Alegria.
Good evening, good afternoon, Council and Mayor Wells. It's a great opportunity to come back here to address the council. We have some events that are on the horizon. It's been quite some time. Today I'm here on behalf of the Pregnancy Care Clinic, and I'm happy to announce that we've returned to El Cajon. We purchased some property on Broadway, 1014 Broadway, and we are grateful for those council members who have previously supported the work of the clinic in reaching our clients who are facing unintended pregnancies. Through education by presenting the options of parenting, which the clinic supports families with material needs such as material clothes for mom, baby clothes, diapers, wipes, and formula for children from newborn to 2 years old, and also birthing and parenting classes. We also partner with adoption agencies for placement options. And finally, we do not support or perform nor refer abortions, but we again do educate about abortions, offering them biblical healing for both men and women who are seeking healing and their consequences for abortion. So on October 9th, at 6:30, we invite the council and their spouses to join us at our banquet this year, and we anticipate a wonderful night, and our guest speaker will be the co-founder of the 40 Days for a Life and the executive director of the Life Leadership Conference, David B. Wright. Upon consideration, we invite you, the honorable city council members and mayor, to present our volunteer of the season to Rose Arthur with a certificate of recognition from the city. Along with honorable council members, we respectfully honor Ms. Arthur with other presentations and recognitions from other dignitaries serving our community. So I hope to receive your RSVP, and thank you for all you do for us.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions? Michelle?
Hi, Ms. Alegria. Thank you for the presentation and the invite. Once this meeting is over, there are a lot of people who watch it on Facebook afterwards. If someone has donations, can they bring it to your new facility if they have donations of diapers or clothing or baby goods?
Absolutely. I've also included my business card in your packet. Please feel free to share that. And I will be more than happy to receive any donations of any kind. Thank you.
Perfect. So they can come to 1014 Broadway in El Cajon if they have donations of baby goods.
Yes, we do have a security gate, so if they call before, we'll be able to open that for
Perfect.
them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Joe. Appreciate
Thank you.
Next speaker is Connie Elder.
I had a question. Is there a number of public comment cards that triggers the reduction of time that we're allowed to speak? Or is that a decision that you just make?
We made a decision based upon the number of people that were here and the amount of business we have to get done.
Okay.
But everybody's gets a chance to speak.
Okay. So I prepared 3 minutes and I cut out some stuff, but I may go over a little bit. The first thing I want to do is thank Phil Ortiz for inviting some of our leaders to his office for a chat after the last council meeting. A handful of people, in good faith and feeling a teeny bit hopeful that he might be open to discussion, took hours of their workday, or took hours out of a workday to meet with him. These are people with families and children, full-time jobs. It turns out he wasn't interested in discussion. He wasn't interested in listening. He was quite simply exhibiting his arrogance by manipulating them as if they were puppets on a string. But it's all good because it invigorated our efforts to collect signatures for his recall. In fact, I have been advised that the effort has picked up significant momentum and endorsements and planning of all kinds of new activities. So you, sir, I believe, are history. Meanwhile, I would like to appeal directly to Mr. Goebel, whom I suspect may be a man of conscience. By aligning yourself with defenders of this resolution, you are establishing yourself as a defender of agents, dragging children out of the hands of their mothers and community members out of classrooms and workplaces. People who are attempting to immigrate the right way are rounded up at their immigration appointments, which they attend in good faith. And I'm not alone in my disgust. In a poll of favorability of public organizations by Pew, the nonpartisan public opinion research organization, ICE is third from the bottom, more favorable only than the Department of Justice and the IRS. But this isn't really a matter of what's popular. This is an issue rather of right and wrong. Emma Lazarus knew what was right when she wrote the words that are inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. But rather than quote the new Colossus, I'd like to end by quoting another famous progressive. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. These words, of course, can be found in the book of Matthew, spoken by Jesus Christ our Lord. So in parting, I would like to ask you, with all respect and admiration, Steve Goebel, to introduce a new resolution to undo the old resolution that doesn't make any sense and doesn't do anything but alienate people. Thank you.
The last speaker is Melanie Bennett.
Thank you for that extra moment. So that is my beautiful sign. I am a El Cajon fan. I love El Cajon. I've lived here most of my life. I don't want to tell you the years, but very happy to be able to speak to you today. Hello to everyone here. So I'd like to talk about ICE. So first of all, when we make decisions, sometimes we don't have all the information. We don't know what's going to happen once we make that decision. But then new information comes up, and then you see, oh, that wasn't a good decision. So sometimes the best decision is to reverse that decision, and I'm looking at Mr. Goebel. And so I just want to take us through This quote you've heard a million times. I'd like you to please listen to it again, because it's a very important lesson that was learned by somebody, and I'm sure you think you know it, but let's just go through this quote. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. This is Martin Niemöller. He was a prominent German pastor. After World War II, he openly spoke about his own early complicity in Nazism and his eventual change of heart. His powerful words about guilt and responsibility still resonate today, and his quote is part of the permanent exhibition at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum since its opening in 1933. So let's get ICE out of the picture, and I'd love to speak for another minute, but I guess that's not allowed. But thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to closed session. The city attorney will recite the titles and lead us into the closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council will be meeting closed session on one item, conference with legal counsel on existing litigation pursuant to paragraph 1 of subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9. The name of the case is Jake Kane versus City of El Cajon. It's a workers' comp claim bearing number 220-14609.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the closed session. Second. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a closed session. We'll be back in a few minutes to conclude the meeting.
Foster mom.
It was that fight you got in with Mr. Ortiz. Yeah. The dais. Got your shoulder pulled out.
I'll ask our city attorney to report on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met in closed session on one item for a conference with legal counsel on existing litigation as described previously, and direction was given to the city's workers' comp adjuster.
All right. This brings us to adjournment, the regular joint meeting of the El Cajon City Council, El Cajon Housing Authority's successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency, held this 9th day of September 2025, is adjourned until Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 3:00 p.m. Thank you very much.